It's another amazing day at fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'm here with the wonderful Nick Hunter. Nick is a
Hello.
really fantastic developer, like one of the best, I think, senior developers in the business. He is a specialist in UI UX development, but also talks about a wide variety of other really cool tips and tricks, and it's all about forcing the FileMaker to hit its breaking point in terms of capabilities of things that it can do. Let's talk about the live training schedule. So we do this mostly 5 days a week. Thursday is going to be finishing up this FileMaker relationship series with Nick, which will be really awesome. Friday I'll be resolving duplicate records and with Calvin. Monday we actually, due to our senior engineers being quite busy, we don't have a Monday. But we do starting on Tuesday. We start Nick's next stage, which is building extreme reports with FileMaker, and then on Friday we have an open Q&A with Jacob Taylor, which will be fun. So if you have server related questions, that would be the time. If you'd like to support the channel, we'd greatly appreciate it. We have our FM Training annual subscription bundle. If you've never messed with FileMaker at all, this is where you can start. Pretty much breaks it down how to use FileMaker from the point of a beginner. If you've got gaps in your knowledge, it's also really great to pick up too. We cover really a huge variety of topics on pretty much all the aspects of the platform. Andy, I'm glad you're here because I'm going to ask your question to Nick first before I let Nick get into what he's doing today. Is that okay, Nick?
Yes, of course.
Nick, the question that we have from Andy is one about relationships. How about polymorphic relationships inside a FileMaker solution? It's kind of an anti-pattern, but saves a lot of relations in tables. Not quite sure how good FM is with handling a lot of data in polymorphic relations.
Yeah, but what you refer to? Because polymorphic, is that reference to a technique invented by Todd Geist, something like this? I admit my ignorance here.
I'm not quite sure who invented it, but it's basically referencing on tables and IDs instead of referencing a column.
Referencing the table and IDs instead of the column.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is applied. Something that is related to one to many, one to many, many to one, one to many. Yeah, but I need to have more information on this. Yeah, polymorphic. You mean relating multiple table to the same fields? Yes.
A typical use case is files. You have two columns, table name, table ID, and then you can use contact as table name and for ID 1, 2, 3.
I don't know. I need to see some stuff like this. Pretty much what you want to do. You want to use the same field, one field, unique field, and use this field to relate multiple tables. Yeah, so I kind of understand what it is. Yeah, I don't have the time to explain that today. Yeah, it's something we use all the time, but I don't know if that's the terminology, the FileMaker terminology, or the polymorphic relationship. But it's okay. I can work on this. But I will. Yeah. So you send me the message.
I sent you an article that looks like a good starting point for like later when you want to read up on it.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
now, it'll take maybe or you can. Depends how fast you read.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, no problem. But I need to. Okay, I'm not familiar with the terminology, right? So I don't think it's a FileMaker terminology, by the way. So that's why I'm not familiar to this. I'm not going outside of FileMaker. I'm stuck with FileMaker because anything else bothers me a lot. So how is it polymorphic?
He also said that he could provide a helpful
I try to
file.
yeah. So I type polymorphic in the FileMaker help. I have 0 return results. Okay, so it's definitely not a FileMaker terminology, but I will see what it's referring to, and then I will come with an add-on next week, right? So let's do that, right? so I will, because people talking about that a lot is Salesforce, right? So and it's a SQL kind of type of relationship, right? So I will see what I will look what it is, and then I will see what is the technique in FileMaker, right? So it's okay. So if that's done, that's okay. We can start.
We are good.
Okay. So welcome everybody to this super webinar. So this is the last day of what's the name? The last day of this relationship, kind of a series, right? So it lasted a little bit more than I was expecting, but it's because we have so many to cover, and I could stay even more talking about relationship because there's so many things to say. But I try to show you how to use specific, anchor buoy design schema, and try to convince you to switch to this. Try to decipher all the difficulties that you can have. So I hope it's very hard to, I have a friend of mine on LinkedIn is sent to me a message, okay, oh, you crazy to talking about relationship. Each time I try, I fail because it's so, special, but it's okay. I like the challenge. So last time we talk about converting. So that's a good example because I wanted to show you something, and I could combine both, right? So that's good thing. So it's to how we can switch from a serial number or path, schema, right, to a unique ID, UUID schema without difficulties. So that is what we want to do, right? So here what we have here the FM starting point. FM starting point always be based on a serial number here, right? But contact ID, see if I have the ID contact, it's a serial number here, okay? It's a serial number, CON, and then a number, okay? So, but how we can switch from what's the name? Switch from a serial number to a UUID without crazy relationship and stuff like that, because by definition, we don't have relationship because we are going to create a new field alongside the old field. So the old field, we don't touch it right now, right away. We don't. But we are going to keep the old field and create a new field here. So, okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch the contact table to a design with a UUID. So today, if you look the contact table, the contact world, everything is linked with the ID serial number. If I go estimate, it's the ID contact. If I go project, right, it's the ID contact. So everything is linked to the ID contact here, which is a serial number. But here we have now, right? We have now a field with a UUID here, right? So first, what we need to do is to fill this field with something, right? Right, this field, that the new UUID. So here I have 25,000 records, right? So you said you use replace, record, right? And the replace, what is it? I don't replace, right? And then you go there and you say get UUID. So we're going to replace this field, the 25,000 record, with a UUID. So now I have UUIDs, right? Right. So I have UUIDs here. I can put that here for now, right? and put some background here. So you say I have a UUID. They're all different, right? So now that I have this UUID here, right, I am going to create in all the other tables, like estimate, for example, I'm going to create a IDF, the UUIDF contact, right? Because I need to receive the ID, right? Okay. So I'm going to copy that field and I'm going to put it on invoices. I'm going to put it on projects, right? So pretty much on all those, the thing I can even put on notes. Where's the notes? I think it's where's notes? You can see notes here. I think it has a strange name on the FM starting point, the notes. I think he has a strange name. Yeah, no, it's notes. I can see it. Can see it? I can see it. Uh, it has a strange name. It's something like whatever. I don't remember. It has a strange name. Okay, never mind. We don't do notes. Okay, so now that I have my UUID in that stuff here, I want to transfer, right, to all my records here, because here in invoices, I have plenty of invoices related to different contacts, right? So and this here, right, they are all related with the serial number. So I want, for example, in all my 23 invoices, I want to take in that field the UUID of the contacts, but I don't have the relationship right now with the UUID. I don't know. What I do know is the link with the old, right? The old one, right? So to do the thing fast, I have a technique, and I'm going to show you. You go to imports. So if you don't know, right? Yes, we can. Oh, that remembers somebody. Yes, we can. What's the name? Import from one file to the same file. So we can import in the file from the same file. So the source file is the same as the target file. You import from itself. Okay, so that's so far so good. I'm going to what is stereo file? I'm going to my contact here, right? So I'm going to my contact table here. I select all of this and I say don't import. Okay, so I'm importing nothing, right? And what you do, you say, okay, replace. You go here. Normally it's here, right? But you do, instead of importing and adding records, we're going to update records. Okay. So what the update do? So it tells you on the screen, update selected field target found on the source, right? So we are going to update, not import. We're going to update a field based on another field, and we will have a match field. Pretty much, it's like importing with a relationship. I'm going to make a relationship. I'm going to build a relationship here, right? And then I'm going to update. So what I want to do, I want to go there and look for the ID. I want the ID. Where is the ID? ID contact. Where is the ID contact? Okay, ID contact. So I want to, okay, here. I want to match this with the other ID contact here. Add, update. And here, so when you select this update, you have a new type of relationship, right? And you can match on that. No, it's not this one. is the other one, is the ID with other up. I can see it. Oh, this one, I'm going to match it with the ID contact, right? ID contact on that table. So here I'm coming from contacts where I have my, all my contacts. And here I have my invoices, right? And here I'm matching the field based on the old relationship. And what I want to do now is here says I want to put, I don't have, I forgot to put it. Okay, so let's go there. I might have forgotten to, I forgot. It's okay. I can copy this one, the IDF, this one, and put it in the invoices. It's named UUID. Okay. So I want the UUID, right? So what I'm doing here, I want, based on that field, that every matching record I want to import in the current record. I'm not adding record. That's why this is said update. I'm going to update inside that field whatever the content on this one. But I have a content on this side. I have a content. I just create them, right? And here I'm going to import. So I'm going this. I'm importing, right? So it's going to import. So now I have only 5. So let's show all. So let's do it again, because I have only 5 FM starting point. This Mac. Okay. From contact to invoice here. And now I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to, based on the old, based on the old, why I always have 5. I say sure, right? Because he found only he found only 5 matching. Okay, so that's fine. That's okay. So now, if I go there, the one that match, if I go there, I will have in that field UUID. So I have a UUID here. So let's find what's not empty. So that's the one that was matching with the name, right? Those got the name matching. Okay. So I got on all the matching records based on the old serial number. Now I have the UUID of the contact. If I go there in the contact, okay, and I look for, right, and I look for this, you will see that it's the record is here is Kibo Hankook. So yes, so is this record now, this invoice record now, with that related to that contact with the old serial number. Now I have the new UUID, the matching of that record. Okay, so you just do this. You just do the same, right? So you go on estimate, for example, right? And you do the same. You import, from the same. You import from the same, from estimate. So you remove this from estimate. So from T05, right? From T05, and you do the same. So you look for the ID contact. You point that to the old ID contact. You say update, and you say match on this one. Then you go here and you're going to import the UUID of the contact this based on the old ID. You import, right? That's it. So I have 4 estimate matching the contact over there, right? You can see, right? So now I have on this table, you do it again. So you go to the project table, right? You do it again, import file, FM starting point. Okay. So you look for the ID contact. So you select this one only. You say you want to match on this one, right? And then you go down where I have the new UUID. Where's the new UUID? No. Maybe I forgot to put it here in project. No. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, let's put it. Like estimate. Go to project. Paste it. So now I have it, right? And he found the correlation, right? So, oh no, TO5. So I need to make sure that I'm pointing the source is the table like this. So I don't want to import this one. I want to import this one with this one, right? So based on this one, on the old one, I'm going to import the new one. Okay, let's do it. 4. Okay. So now, what you do, you have the UUID, right? So those are the matching, okay, that the matching, right, a record here. So what you do now, right, is use that new field. If you want to keep the old relationship, but otherwise you can just replace, right, the old, the old UUID. So you see, for example, here now, I have the old ID contact, okay, and I have the new ID contact, right? So now it's very simple to do, right? You can just say in project. So in project, don't remember what project is. Hold on. So you just say in project, so T16. So you just said in T16 project, you're going to replace the old contact ID with the new contact ID, UUID, right? You do this. So now I'm going to replace this here. Won't show PRG, it will show the new ID, right? I mean, no, sorry, both IDs now will match. So the old one now is the new one. So now and this are the same, right? 45, 57, 45, 57. So now what you have all your table with the new ID, and you did that on all the table, you can go back to your contact table and do the same here. That means you say, just bring in contact, just replace the ID contact with the old serial number with the new field that you just created here, right? And you do this. So see here, project is broken because I changed the foreign key and I didn't update the parent key yet. But if I do this, right? So now it will do. So it's updating this, right? So a 25,000 record. So this is how you convert from serial number to UUID without even modifying your schema, because I use the import to do that, right? So I can, with the import, with the matching, right? You do that. Recently, a customer of mine just did it, Mark. He did it. He did it on large files, right? So, and he was very scared to do it. See, up, the project came because I replace, right? But now, for example, estimate is broken, right? So I need to go to estimate, right? And do the same as I did, so estimate. So this one is empty now because the relationship is broken, because in this table here, what is the number? 08. So I just say T08 estimate, and I replace the ID contact, the foreign key of the contact, with the new foreign key, this one. And you will see that this will appear like by magic. Tac, is there. Right? So you do that on all your tables where you have the foreign key contact, and that's it. And you do for estimate, for invoices, and do the same. But it takes some time to do it. Normally, what I'm doing is I'm taking the time of building a nice script that goes to layout and do all this. You do it with a script, and that's it. And when you have millions of records, you can run the script and go, or you can even do the script on server, can do it for you, right? Because that works. Okay. So, do we have any questions?
Nothing on YouTube or Twitch. No current questions so far, actually. It's like,
Okay.
oh, this is really cool. Didn't know that you could import into yourself. So you're good to keep going.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, it's I'm using in my development, right? I'm using import for many things, that more than just import, right? Because sometimes it works very well, when you do this, when you need to do something like this, when you need to do transfer of things, right? Based on an ID, but you don't want a relationship, or you don't want to to build a lookup or whatever. You don't want to do that. You have so I'm using imports. The import, because you can do that on the import. On the import script step, right? So you can have something that's still doing right like this, right? So the import has many advantage, right? Is that you can perform something and do not perform any auto enter and any lookups, right? So that sometimes is very cool to update something, but you don't want lookups or creation timestamp or anything to change, right? So that's how I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm using this and I'm unchecking this box, right? So then you can do whatever. You can modify records, and you don't modify the creation timestamp or the modification timestamp or the lookup, right? So it's not going to happen, right? It's not triggering. So that's cool. Or you can select the one you want, the one you don't want, right? So that I know by experience that even with the trigger technique, when you do like transfer or updates or modification like this, it can be tricky to avoid another cat to trigger, right? So if we don't have any question here, I want to talk about using tags. Okay, so I talk about tags a lot. Okay, but I want to take some time to show you this. Okay, so what a tag? A Boolean tag. Okay, FileMaker, right? By default, the default language of FileMaker, right, is the Boolean. Okay, the Boolean answer. So it's if you say something, it will say 0 or 1. So 0, 1 is the basic of any type of computer, right? So, and it's good to use Boolean because it's faster. Okay. So what is a Boolean? You say 1 plus 1 equal 2, it will say yes, that yes. But if you say 1 plus 1 equal 3, say no. Right? So if you say, for example, that is empty the field first name, it said 0. It's not empty. Okay? It's not empty. But something we can say, for example, is status, right? Status equal active. So it will say 1 because it is true, because it's active, right? But if you say inactive, it says 0. But if you say active, it says 1. By the same token, if I change the state of this, it says 0. If I say active again, it says 1, right? So let's say now, right? I am in the, I have projects here. So let's create project for that guy. Okay. I don't have any, not project, but project is a bad example. Let's go to estimates. Okay. So I want to create an estimate. Or no, let's go to account. Account is better. It's a better example. Okay. So I have accounts here. And here I have contacts, right? So I can add a contacts, right? And account. So now I have 3 contacts, right? But I want another contact, Nick. Okay. Right? And contact here. So now I have 4 contacts here, right? In that for that account, I have 4 contacts. But let's say I want my relationship, right, to show only the active contacts. I don't want the inactive contacts, right? So I can go there, right, and put all the contact I want, some contact inactive, right? So I go in here and inactive, right? I go in here. This one is active, and I'm going here. Now this one I did it, and I want to go there, and I said, oops, account. This one, new contact that I will call Jacob, is active, right? So now I want to show in this account, in this list, I want to show only active contacts. So yes, I know what you say, what you do, you want to do something like go there, right? And have a filter and say in the filter, status equal active, right? So you can do this, right? So you have only two. That's the only two active. Yes, but this is complicated and it's not fast at all. Okay, that's not good. Okay. Now, what we want a relationship that do that for us. Okay, but we want a relationship, a good way to use a relationship, and we use a tag. Okay, so I'm going to the table, going to my contacts here. Okay, and I'm going to create a new field. I'm going to call tag active. It's a number because it will be 0 or 1. It's important to be a number. Tag active, and what is tag active? Tag active is whenever status equal active, right? So whenever the status is active, that field will turn 1. Tag active. So whenever what's the name? This is active 1, inactive 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, okay? So whenever active, okay, it said 1. If it's inactive, it said 0, right? So let's go, right, and replace that tag, right, with the same condition, okay? Status, because I didn't have the information, right? Active. So I want to make sure that so I'm replacing that tag with 1 and 0. So it's going to do that. I'm going to replace. Okay. So now I go there, active, see 1, see? Active, 0 is inactive, active, inactive, see? Active, inactive. Okay. So now I have my tag here. I have my tag active. So the advantage of using this, right, is that, okay, it's a single number. It's a single digit, right? 0, 1, okay? So that means if tomorrow you change this and you say, up, for example, instead of active, even if you change this, you just have to change the tag calculation, but the relationship between that I'm going to build now, the relationship will still work because whatever this in that table will be, you just have to change the calc here. But the relationship pointing to that field will always work and you will never have to change it. So now that I have my contact and stuff like that, remember on the account here with the filter, I got two contacts, right? So now what I need to do, first, I need to build here a reference, okay? So we have it. We have a constant. We call ID constant. So what is the ID constant? ID constant is I want in every single of my records, I want 1. Okay, so demonstration. Demonstration. In all my record, I have 1 here. There will always be 1. Okay. So now I can use that. I can use that 1 to go to the relationship here, which is the C. T01C, right? So here I had a relationship based only on 1 predicate, ID account, parent key, foreign key. But now I'm going to add something else. I'm going to add constant, and I'm going to say tag active. So now what I'm going to say, what is going to do? Is going to check for all the record with the ID account matching, but all the record that has one here will work, because I said matching the ID account with the ID account, matching the ID constant, which is one, with whatever we will have one here. So just changing the relationship like this, now that I have the one and stuff like that, the boolean and the tag, this will now show only two records, right? Without filters. So that is way faster, okay? So now if I go to my contact table and I say, oh, by the way, I want to add, I think, which one as the company, don't remember which one was there, but it's okay. So if I account, I don't remember which one was there. I think Nick Hunter, I think myself, I was there. If I create somebody, new contact here, right? Test. Otherwise, so this guy now is related to the company here. So if I go there, this guy is there. If I change his status to inactive, right? This guy is not there, right? So if I go back to the contact and I put back active, this guy is there. So, right? So 1, okay. So do we have any questions?
We do, though it's not necessarily related to this. Question. Do you ever reach a point in anchor buoy design when there are too many buoys, and it makes sense for performance or other reasons to create a new anchor, same base table with other buoys?
Yeah, you can do that, of course, but you will have a problem because the buoy needs to point to a layout so that you can do what you say if you have two layouts, right? So you have one layout pointing to a buoy. You have, let's say we have two worlds, okay? I have account 01, right? And the 01, 2, and the 2, right? I have two buoys. I can have one layout pointing to this using those relationships, and I can have another layout pointing to this using another world. But you cannot have two layouts. You cannot have one layout pointing to two buoy, to two anchors, right? You understand what I mean? So the layout, it's what points to this, and then you have all the data related. So you cannot have two buoys, two anchors with a buoys kind of world pointing to the same layout. It's not possible, right? So that's the only restriction I see here. But of course you can do, I'm doing that sometimes, when you have complex stuff and you have multiple layouts pointing to the same table, because you remember at the beginning of that webinar, I tried to educate with the right terminology. That's a table, right? That is a table occurrence. It's a TO. This is a table. This is a TO. So you can have as many TOs you want pointing to the same table, okay? But you can have only one TO related to a layout. The layout here is related to the TO, not to the table. You understand? Because the table here, to access the table, you need a TO pointing to the table. But this, because FileMaker used that table, here and pretty much screwing up everybody. But this is not a table. This is a table occurrence. The table is here, right? So that's the only restriction I see in that stuff. Question? If we don't, I can.
Yep, we got two.
Okay, go.
Actually, we got two to follow up on that question, and then we get a different question. So
Mm-hmm.
follow up to Stu's question: where you have lots of buoys, are there only a performance drag where they are portals in the layout? For ones that are just used in scripts or for lookups, does that matter? Do they
Yeah,
matter?
okay, so when you have a second level, is like uh maybe you need what's the name? Uh maybe you need an auto entry calculation or a relookup, for example, or a lookup. And then yes, you can, if you have a script that points to no that needs information from a third level, you can, but you cannot display something like this, right? Like we have here, right? You can't. Um, for example, if you want to display, let's say we have this one, right? And you want to display out of this, right? You want to go to projects, for example, right? And that will be the C1 with the ID contact, right? And you want to go to project here, and you want to see, with this, you go there, um, and you want to do this, for example. That means you in account, you go to contact, and here you want to see, you want to display projects in that table. You want to display, for example, here you want to go and display on the TC1, so the one behind this, so the third level, and you want the name, for example, or the project name, like this, you know. If you do this will be freaking slow, if you do something like this, right? So you need to find another way because this will be slow. Now, if you have an auto entry calculation or a lookup that point to a third level, is totally fine. I prefer to build my own world for that, right? Because it's immediately start being like confusing, right? Um, so yeah. So let's go to the next question.
Ba, 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 ba. Any idea how many buoys are enough to make you think about adding another anchor?
Can you repeat, please?
Yes. Any idea how many buoys are enough to make you think about adding another anchor?
Oh, no. It depends on how comfortable it will get you. Okay. For example, if you have the opportunity or if you have the situation where you have a large file and you have a layout pointing to the same table, but you have two layouts or three layouts pointing to that table, build a anchor buoy for each layout. That will be my recommendation. But only if you have multiple layouts. Otherwise, you have no choice, right? So, but if you have two layouts, three layouts pointing to the same table, right? Definitely, it will be better to have a different world for all of those layouts, even though that may imply redoing the same what's the name? Doing the same replay, no, doing the same relationship again, right? So making twice the same relationship. But keep in mind that depending on what you have related, because you have calculation and stuff like that. So if you have a table with fields that points to different worlds, so you need to choose which field to point to the right, starting point in the context, right? Here, right? So when you're here, you need to pick up the right context, right? So, but it can the number of is it's not based on the number. It's based on it's based on the advantage you will get doing that. Okay. Sometimes it's good when you have multiple layouts pointing to the same table. It's good to do this, right? If you need to share information, right? Next.
The next one is it a good practice to use get as Boolean function, i.e. get as Boolean parentheses status equals active parentheses?
No, you don't need that. The get as Boolean is this. Okay. The get as Boolean is not used for that because FileMaker, if you say like I said, if you use right, if you use a function and you say is empty name, or is account. Is empty account, if we say no, it's not empty, right? So you don't need the answer of this will be a Boolean by default, right? But or if you say the length, let's play, the length of this, okay, inferior to 12, he said no. Inferior to 30, he said yes, because I have 26 character, right? So see, you don't need to have a Boolean here, but you can use that. What a good example, use get as Boolean. This, it says 0 because, it is not empty, right? Get as Boolean this. Yeah, but this is not working as well. No, the get as Boolean is when you have, I don't have an example that pops to my mind. So container, get as Boolean on the container. Those examples, see, even FileMaker, they have bad example. I don't have a good example. I need to come with something. I don't, I know recently I used that for what I want, because typically, FileMaker will answer I don't know. It's not coming to my mind. So sorry, I don't have I don't have an example.
I think we're good.
Okay, so now I want to finish this to show you something where the Boolean can be useful. I keep thinking about a good example. It's not popping to my mind. So let's say here, right? I have a creation date, for example, right? I think we have a creation date, something like this, right? We have a timestamp modified, okay? Here, or created. So we have a timestamp created here, right? And I don't want to deal with craziness, right? I want a tag that shows me everything here that has been created before that has been created in 2023. Okay, I know I have some. Okay, right? So I want only the people created in 2023. Okay, so this is because I want to use that in the relationship, right? But I don't want something. I don't want a relationship with a date, with inferior, superior. I don't want that. No, I want something very simple. So I duplicate this and I say 2023. This year. This year. Okay. So I said get as date because I want to get the date out of a timestamp. So this is how we do that. Get as date, creation. Oh, I have date created. I don't need to do that. So date created, right? The year of the get date created equal, okay, the year of the current date. Then I have a function that says always that year, this year, right? So I have this here, right? So that will say if it's equal of the year of now, it will say, it will say yes. Otherwise, it will say no, right? So let's put that created here, that created. So that created, and on the side here, I'm going to put the tag this year, right? So I'm going to replace this to, because I don't have data right now. It's an auto entry calculation. So it's a TO5. TO5. Okay. So I'm going to replace this. And I will get the, 0 or 1 based on this, right? Okay. So this is 1. This is 1. This is 1. This is 0. But if I change the date here, that 1, but if I put 21, it said no, right? So this is how you do, right? So let's put some other people in 2023, right? So now let's put this one here in 22. So now I'm going back to my account, right? So remember this one, the test one here. This guy here is on 23, but this one here is in 22. And let's say on my list of contact, not only I want only the active one, but I also want the one on 23, okay? So I'm going to that relationship. I'm using the same ID constant, the same one here, and I said, I want only the one in 23, right? And you will see that this guy here will go away. Go away. So the tags and the Boolean answer with the 1 like this is super simple, right? It's very, very simple to do. And it's very simple to manipulate because it's not complicated. You don't need to have a field with the year to match the year, another field with the year of the date created. You know what I mean? You have a tag that says tag active, tag whatever. Sometimes I have 15 tags. You can have whatever you want, like this. You use a tag with a 1, 0, and then you can use that on the relationship and stuff like that. And even on your search, on your search, you go there, you say 1 here, boom. Those are the guy in 22, in 23. And you search here and you say, oh, okay, I want the people not. Okay. See, it's 25,001 minus the 3 that, so that is very cool to use the tag. And so the goal is to convert everything into a Boolean answer, right? So you can convert anything on Boolean answer, you say whatever you want to say, So for example, if I want, last example, I want something in the US, for example, in US. Okay, so that's what I want, and I just have to say the billing or the primary country equal USA, right? So now I have a tag for that, right? So I'm going there, addresses, the primary, right? So I am, it's United States. So I need to say United States here. So in United States, so here and this. So I said equal USA. Okay. So now I have a tag, this tag here in the US. I'm going to replace with the same calc. Okay. What is the primary country equal United States. So now, if I want the people in United States, bam, they're all in the United States, But they were all in the United States. So, but you understand. So now, so which one is not in the United States? Oh, this guy. This guy is not. See. So you can convert anything into a Boolean and then use that in a relationship. That was a demo. Okay.
We've got one last question, and then I think we're good. Sometimes you have the status in the external portal of the relation data. Is it possible to change the status for the row active by the button status?
You need to, the status is in the external portal, okay? And, but, so you have a checkbox or something like this, that's, you check, right? Yeah, you can, because just you need to do in that case is use a trigger, right? So when you have an auto entry calculation like this, right? So here, let's say you want to point on something external, right? Let's say let's say you want the what's the name? You want the staff department to be whatever, okay. So that won't work because it's a field from another table. So you can use the technique, that the trigger technique, right? So you have a trigger equal trigger. So I don't know if I have trigger in that file. No, I didn't. But we can add I cannot do this. But you can use my trigger technique, the trigger technique. So you have a trigger field, last modification. So you have a trigger field here and timestamp. So you have this field here. Then you go to your tag and you say here, right? You say let, you select the trigger and you say equal trigger, right? Then you do this, right? And then when you do a modification in that layout, when you change something, you put on commit set field on that trigger field, and then the auto entry calculation will be triggered. And then you get the tag based on whatever you have on the external. I hope I answered.
There we go. Cool. Yes, so you did answer. So I think we're good.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Nick, seriously, for doing this. We greatly appreciate it. And we will see you next week.
Okay, see you next week. That will be interesting what we have.
Yes,
You know,
we have reports.
so we have a long series about the reporting, because this is where I'm even better on building reports than design. Because and you will see that going to do, okay, it's for advanced people, right? I'm not going to explain what a sub-summary is, okay? I'm not going to explain that. It's much more complicated. But if you want to have a very advanced reports, things you want to, with multiple tables and, export as Excel and stuff like that with summaries and stuff. So that we're going to, custom headers. So that we're going to learn next week.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Have a good one, Nick.
Thank you. Good weekend.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!